Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a flip through in my Hobonichi Cousin, looking at all of my spreads that I had for the month of November. This is going to cover my monthly, my weekly, and all of my daily spreads. So if you would like to see what happened in the month of November for me, or also just to get ideas of how to use your Hobonichi going into the next year, then go ahead and keep watching. We're going to flip to the very beginning. I actually usually start with the yearly pages, but next year this is going to be something I'm probably going to end up changing. But this is what I have for the month of November. So my yearly spread, or my yearly like plan ahead, whatever this is called, month at a glance, year at a glance, whatever you want to call it. I use this for the part of the tracker is for my workouts, closing my rings, and then if I'm drinking water, and then the other little section is for my mood. So I'm really quickly going to talk about my exercise, my habit tracker that I have. I basically did not do any working out the entire month of November. This has been a challenge for me going all the way back into like August. In August, or actually in the very beginning of September, I kind of fell off of my workout plan that I was pretty religiously sticking to for the most part, and I just haven't been able to get back there. So November, I think I worked out 2-3 times the entire month, and then I didn't work out anymore. So very unsuccessful when it comes to that aspect. But my moods, for the most part, I'm in the happy, good, or tired. There were a couple of like meh days, which is basically like a not great but not bad, just kind of those average days. So that for the most part was a great thing. So that was really good. I had a lot of really good days in the month of November. And then I also at the top, I put down my subscriber count, how many books I read, which I read 8 books. And then the total pages were 4,182, which is actually higher than I have been able to read over the last like 3 months. That's been the highest page count I've had for an entire month. So that's kind of what my year at a glance looks like. Like I said, in my 2024 Hobonichi, I'm actually going to be doing this different. So definitely make sure that you follow my channel, because I'll be doing fairly shortly, within the next few weeks or so, I'm going to be setting up for the month of January in my new Hobonichi. So if you'd like to see kind of how I'm planning on using this, then definitely make sure you subscribe, so that way you'll be notified, or you'll see whenever that video goes live. So we're going to go ahead and jump to my monthly page. Now, my monthly page I use as a weather tracker. This is also something I'm going to be changing up in 2024. I don't think, or if I do end up deciding to track the weather, it's not going to be like the temperature and the weather. It's just going to be the temperature. But this is what I have for the month of November. At the very bottom, I like to kind of show you the ranges of the highs and the lows in my local area. So the month of November, the highs ranged from 82 degrees down to 46 degrees. So that was a huge delta or difference between those two values. And then the lows ranged from 61 degrees down to 23 degrees. So that was what November looked like in my local area, which is like northern Alabama. And now we're going to flip to my weekly pages, and we're going to we'll start here. So this is the week of October 30th through November the 5th. Now you'll notice I don't use a lot of stickers. I use stickers to kind of stick out what happened during that day or how I was feeling. I don't usually have a lot of stickers in my planner. I use this functionally, so I like to see what I did during that day and how I was feeling. So I don't have a ton of stickers because I want my focus as what actually happened during that day and not on the stickers that I use. So for the month of, or this first week in November, I used primarily, it was a dark purple Tombow, and then I had for the month, or for the actual day of October 31st, which is Halloween, I used a black Tombow with like white, like a white pen to fill in my work and appointments. It was a decent spread, nothing that really stood out or something that I really enjoyed. I did like all of the stickers. These were from a subscription kit that I have with Coffee Monsters Co. So I did enjoy using those for the Halloween week. And then we have November 6th through the 12th. This I have a bunch of dragons that I printed out myself because this week was the week that Iron Flame, the book Iron Flame, if you're not familiar, is a fantasy book that just got released in November, and it actually got delivered on, I thought it was going to be delivered originally on the 8th of November, but it came a day early, which I was extremely excited about. And so in that book there are dragons, and so I decided to decorate with some dragons. We have the story has a black dragon and a gold dragon, so I have those down here as well. So we have this as a spread, and I did down here, usually from 9 p.m. until like 1 a.m. or so is when I do the majority of my reading. So I did start Iron Flame on Tuesday. I finished Iron Flame on Friday. I gave it 5 stars. It obviously ended in a cliffhanger, which is why this says, "Are you serious?" And then I picked up Kingdom of Ash, which was I've been trying to read for the longest time, which if you're not familiar, that's a Throne of Glass young adult series or adult fantasy series. And I finished that, and that was also a 5 star. So I had a 5 star in Iron Flame, and then I also had a 5 star for Kingdom of Ash, and I ended up crying. Actually, I ended up crying in both of those books, so it's not a good thing to cry in books, but it also is a good thing to cry in books, in my opinion. And then we have this following week, I planned on using a bunch of my Temu stickers that I got, because I got like, I don't know, 800. I swear I felt like it was 800 stickers that I ordered from Temu a while back, and I wanted to go ahead and use them. I found out after I had filled in my week that a lot of these stickers, or the majority of the time, all of the stickers that I had were too big to fill in without covering up pages. So I didn't really have a lot of stickers for this week, but I still did like it. It was definitely a color scheme that I enjoy. And yeah. And then we have the week of November 20th through the 26th. This was Thanksgiving week, and I was off of work, and we took a trip up to Tennessee to stay at a VRBO that we have stayed at several times already. Whenever you rent the house, the VRBO house, you also have access to the farm, and so we were able to go to the farm multiple times during the day to feed and pet all of the animals. And so that was what we ended up doing. We were left on Monday, and it took us about 5 hours to drive. So we had 5 hours driving on Monday, and we stayed throughout the week, and we left on Black Friday. So we left first thing in the morning around 10 o'clock or so, and drove all the way on Friday back home. And then I came home, and instead of resting, my kids wanted me to put up decorations for Christmas, so we ended up doing that. And then I ended up reading. So this was a super exciting, fun week. I do have a bunch of other pictures that you're going to see pretty shortly in my daily pages. And yeah, this was a really good week. It was a lot of fun being on vacation. And then this is the current week. I'm recording this on Saturday. And so this week I decided to use some washi at the bottom to decorate. And this is kind of like my reading, probably one of my favorite washis that I have from Coffee Monsters Co. I think I have them in a couple different colors, but I have my reading washi along with the brown Tombow marker, and I have kind of filled in what I've done so far during the week, and that would take you through the entire month of November. So now we are going to jump to my November daily pages. And on my daily pages, this like cover page, I usually use as a list of all of the books that I read during that month, along with their star rating. So that way I can kind of keep track of what I've read and how I thought about them. And then we're going to go through really quickly all of my daily pages. Now, for my daily pages, I pretty much use stickers just to save me from having to really read about what happened during that day. So if there's a sticker or something that could help me kind of like focus in on what the words say, it saves me from having to read a bunch of stuff. So here, updated, I basically said that I couldn't wait, that I couldn't believe it was already in November, and I'll be working in my new Hobonichi pretty soon. So I was excited about that. This was me reading in my car during my daughter's doctor appointment or speech occupational therapy appointment. So my reading, I'm able to do, or I usually try to do all of my reading either during doctor's appointments or from like 9 p.m. until like 1 o'clock in the morning or so. That's usually when I focus all my reading. And so this is just me reading in my car during a doctor's appointment. And then, I had like a stuffy nose the beginning of November. So that's what that was. I just had some little emojis of how I was feeling during different parts of the day. On the 4th, the first Saturday of every month, Home Depot has like a kids workshop where they will give free like different items every month for kids to build, and then they can paint. And so we try to do that every single month. So we did that the 4th of November. And then on the 5th of November, we went to Cabela's to do some shopping for something. I can't remember exactly why, but Cabela's has like a fish tank at pretty much every Cabela's or Bass Pro. And this fish at Cabela's, like this fish right here reminded me so much of like a Disney cartoon fish. The way it was like just swimming around, it looked like it was just gonna start talking at any time. So I had to get a picture of this fish. And then I took a picture of Zoe in front of the fish tank, but she was doing a weird pose. I don't know why my kids do that sometimes. I never get nice poses. We have on Monday, November the 6th, I go to a silent book club, which is basically a book club where you are not forced to read the same book as the rest of your book club members. We get together every other Monday and just meet at a coffee shop for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. We usually talk a little bit at the very beginning, and then we end up reading for about an hour, a little over an hour and a half probably. And then we talk again right at the end, and then we call it a day. And I really enjoy that because it allows me to get around other readers and talk about books, but it doesn't make me read books that I might not enjoy. So we had a lot of people at this book club session. November 7th, again, this was when I started reading Iron Flame. I was very excited about it. Nothing really to put down here. It was just a day. This was, my review, because I just finished Iron Flame, and so I have my book review, what I rated it, some of the things that I thought about it, some thoughts, and all of that. So, and then I also have a picture of Fourth Wing, the holiday edition that I received along with Iron Flame. I had finished Kingdom of Ash, cannot speak, and just had some thoughts on that. I started doing a countdown of how many days until I started my Thanksgiving break and going to Tennessee. This was basically just me trying to get through work and get through the days so that I can start my vacation. I was super excited. On here on the 17th, Zoe's occupational therapy teacher had said that she was doing so well that she might be able to graduate from occupational therapy soon, and she's going to be doing a test after Thanksgiving to see kind of where she scores. But I was very excited to hear that she has done so well in occupational therapy, because that was a challenge that we were concerned about going, in all her therapies. Didn't know when that was actually going to happen. And then this was Saturday, basically just had a bunch of, planning for the trip. So I didn't have a lot to write, a lot going on. Sunday was just a bunch of laundry, cleaning, and packing. So I had down here like a packing list of what I wanted to bring. And then I didn't really have any journaling today. I count this as journaling though. So far in 2023, it is now December the 2nd, and I have had on paper something every single day, whether it's just, a little small sentence like this, super excited to start vacation and head to the farm, but I've had something on paper every single day. And a lot of the times when I don't have a lot to say on paper, like right here on this day, I know why. I know because I have this packing list, or I have something that kind of is cluing me in as to what's going on during that day. So I'm not upset that I didn't write anything, because I'm not going to, if I force myself to journal every day, even when I'm like super busy or I have a lot of other things going on, if I'm forcing myself to do it, then I have more of a chance that I'm not going to enjoy journaling. So I don't try to put the pressure on me to journal every day, but I do attempt to have something on paper, whether it's a sentence or something. At least I've taken time to write down the day and have something on paper. But I'm not going to force myself to fill the whole page. So now this was us driving to the farm So we have, my daughter was being silly, and you know, this was in front of the donkey cages, but this was my oldest. And then she was feeding Bob the horse. The owner of the property is Mr. Bob. So you have Mr. Bob and then Bob the horse. So that's kind of funny. I try to put thoughts of the day, kind of recapping what happened just for my memory purposes. So I have those down here as well. So on Tuesday, so the night of the 20th was very exhausting because that night, the first night we were here, I drove, over 5 hours to get from Alabama to the very top part of Tennessee. And so I was already exhausted after driving that far. And that night, there's a pond in the back of the house. And that night, there were probably 100 or more geese that flew in and landed in that pond and squawked the entire night. And so I ended up waking up at 5 a.m. in addition to just like every 30 minutes to an hour because of these geese. So I was exhausted that day. Luckily, that was the only day that happened. There were ducks that still landed or geese that landed in the pond, but they were not nearly as loud as they were that first night. And then this is a picture. We went to Bass Pro. We were sitting in front of the fire. So I got a picture of all of us there. And then we have Wednesday the 22nd, again, we have my oldest with Bob the horse. My youngest was feeding the goats. This was Willie. We went back to Bass Pro, and this was my daughter. She found the cowboy hat section, so she put on a cowboy hat. And then we have both of my girls in front of Bob. My youngest does not enjoy being with she likes the animals, but they scare her because she's small and they're huge. So she actually was willing to take a picture in front of Bob the horse, even though she was kind of nervous. But luckily, we had said that everything was going to be fine. The animals are super nice, and I got a picture of them together. This was Thanksgiving. Mr. Bob actually invited us to his house for Thanksgiving. We had already planned on we brought some food for having Thanksgiving at the VRBO, but he invited us to his house for Thanksgiving, which was super nice. So we did that, and then this was after Thanksgiving. We went back, and my daughter was feeding the little horses, or the mini horses. This is the donkeys, or Bob the horse again, and then this is me with Bob the horse as well. And then we drove back on the 24th, and this was my oldest petting the bull that Mr. Bob has. He was huge, and so she was actually petting the bull while he was eating his breakfast. And then when I got home, I got an order from Coffee Monsters Co. This was my winter sticker order arrived, and that pretty much took care of Friday. And then we had November 25th. I said back to normal life, because now back from vacation, having to kind of get back into the daily routine. And so, just trying to do that. I had another book review of Powerless. That was the other book I started reading this week or this month. And then nothing really happened on Sunday. I was back to work. I was not happy about it. I actually had counted to see how many days until I'm eligible to retire with at the full rate. And it was 4,566 days left to go before I'm able to retire. So that was basically how I was feeling about being back at work. I was already counting down my retirement day. And then we had down here, I had said that I had started wrapping presents because everything started coming in from the Black Friday orders that were done on Black Friday. So things started to come in. So I was wrapping some presents. This was my daughter went to her dentist appointment, and this was she had a dentist appointment 3 months beforehand, but she had a really big anxiety episode and refused to have the dentist look at her. She didn't want to go into the room. She didn't want to do anything with the dentist 3 months ago, so we rescheduled. And so my husband took her this time, and it went really well. The dentist actually ended up pulling one of her teeth that were super loose, and they were amazed by how good she is doing. It's all kind of attributed to her meds that she is on now, that her doctor has put her on to help regulate her emotions. And it's just, since taking that, she has had such an improvement on basically everything in her life that it's so great that she's able to not freak out on things because she just doesn't know how to handle stress. And so she had a great visit with the dentist, and super excited that was able to happen. I was getting a headache on Wednesday, and then Thursday I had put down how is it already the end of November? It's November the 30th. And I had put again, I can't believe I only have one more month until I'm in my 2024 Hobonichi. I'm so ready to start fresh. So that is all of my November spreads. And I'm so excited. Like I just said, I'm so excited to be in December. I've already kind of started, because again, it's December the 2nd as of now. So I'm so excited to be in December. I'm really excited to kind of wrap up this chunky Hobonichi because it's getting very difficult to write, you know, on my planner, just because you have, it's just, you know, you have a ridge when you're trying to write and it gets kind of awkward sometimes. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to finally wrap up this Hobonichi and start my Hobonichi in 2024. And yeah, I'm so excited for the new year and get into my new planner. I'm sure everyone is feeling the same way. So that is going to be it for this November flip through in my Hobonichi cousin. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I have plans to set up my first month, I have plans to set up my January spreads in my Hobonichi cousin. I also have plans to set up the January spreads in my common planner. That's going to be my like on the go planner. So if you're curious about how I am going to be setting up both of those, definitely make sure you like and subscribe so that way you can see those videos whenever they go live. And with that, I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed already. I cannot believe how the amount of subscribers that have joined since the beginning of the year. It's honestly, I never thought I was going to have as many subscribers as I have. When I started this Hobonichi back in January of 2023, I never imagined that I would have this many people listen to me talk. So I want to thank you so much for subscribing. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I love talking to you and seeing your comments and, you know, discussing planners. So please make sure you subscribe. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye.